Welcome everyone to a very special OSI Rock Star class. It's special because we have the Marc Gorlin, co-founder of Kabbage, on the call today. I know a lot of you guys have heard him speak in various other aspects, including WS Radio, but today we've got him all to ourselves. We're very excited about that. Marc, welcome to the show.
Hi, Janelle. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're really excited to talk a lot about Kabbage and helping people grow their business because, as I've told you a million times, now you're probably tired of hearing it, these entrepreneurs work so hard, and I only want to bring them tools that will really help their business, and Kabbage is definitely one of them. So we definitely want to talk about how Kabbage is going to help these people in their business. But first and foremost, and I know you just love this part, can we brag a little bit about who Marc Gorlin is?
No, we shouldn't do that.
Well, can we at least tell them who you are?
Sure.
So, as I said, Marc co-founded Kabbage. Gosh, it's a couple years ago, right?
Yes, a couple years ago, probably in the worst financial crisis in America, we decided to start a credit business for online sellers who nobody wants to do. So I'd question our wisdom at the time, but it's working out pretty well now.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it sounds like, especially based upon your previous success with other businesses, you've had no problem in any sort of financial situation. What are some of the other types of businesses that you've run?
I've started a few different companies. A serial entrepreneur, not the breakfast kind, but began with a company on the West Coast called PGP, Pretty Good Privacy, which is really the software encryption standard for email. Back in the day when corporations were thinking a lot about physical security, but not so much about electronic, or the ones that were the ones that really had to, and trying to make that accessible for everybody, and sold that company into Network Associates. Towards the end of the 90s, also started a company called Vertical One, which did data account aggregation. You all might be familiar with Yodlee, which goes out, or Mint.com, which Yodlee powers, which goes out and gets all your account information, your banking, brokerage, credit cards, and brings them to one place, so you don't have to go to 9 places with 9 passwords. We were really the first that did that. Our IP is now held by Yodlee, but we kind of invented that back in the 98, 99 time frame. We sold to a company called S1 here in town. And I've been involved with some other companies since then, but I think Kabbage is probably the best thing I've seen in 8 years, which is why I'm doing it full time.
That is awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about where this idea for Kabbage came into your head, and why eBay?
Actually, it came into Rob Frohine's head. There's 3 partners here, myself, Rob, and Catherine, who I'm sure folks on this phone call have met at one conference or another. And it simply came into his head because you're looking at what was going on in 2008. The first part was wondering what would happen if a financial services company acquired eBay. What types of products and services would they come up with that would be interesting? And one of the ones was, why not help finance the businesses that are on there? Because if they have more money, then the actual marketplace itself would probably make more because more volume's going through. And also, look at Bill Me Later and what they did on the buyer side. It seems more likely that, businesses that are making their livelihood selling online are going to be better credit risk, and there's a lot more data out there about them to underwrite. No one's just out there grabbing it, finding it, analyzing it, and making decisions on it.
Now, I had asked before kind of this, why eBay? Were any of you guys doing eBay at the time?
No, we were not doing eBay at the time, and as we tried to get our first couple of customers, unfortunately, none of our aunts, uncles, brothers, or sisters were big eBay sellers too, so we actually had to go find customers the old-fashioned way, which kind of stunk for a while because we had to sort of wade into the world of eBay and get to know everybody, which is what we've tried to do. But no, we just saw a need for small business in general. Small business typically gets ignored by banks and regular financial institutions, offline and online, but particularly online. Banks don't get what's going on in the online world. So when you look at eBay, there's the availability to get certain amounts of data. There also is on the PayPal side, and we still look at credit score. I mean, if your credit score is atrocious, then we're probably not going to give you any capital. But when you combine all those things, you have a unique ability to know somebody is who they say they are, see what their business has been doing, see what their customers think of you, and sort of mush all that together. And the data that eBay and PayPal provided is why we picked them first.
Very cool. Now, I would love to turn all of this over to Mark. He has some great information. Today, we promise not to just ask Mark 4 million questions, including what he had for breakfast, but Mark has actually brought you entire screenshots of walking through the process. So for those of you who haven't got a loan through Kabbage yet, you'll actually be able to see this process. And I think that really helps, especially when something's such an unknown to somebody, to really see that process. Beth's writing in saying that she's using her second advance from Kabbage right now. Love how easy it is to use. And we keep hearing that, especially a lot from the rock stars who have already gone through this process. So let's turn this over to Mark. Get going here. It's all you.
There we go. All right. Okay. Can you see me?
We can see you.
Perfect. And to answer your first question, it was a blueberry muffin for breakfast.
There you go.
And we'll move on through this. And Janelle's right. I mean, really, up until this point, we need to get where we'll have videos and things on the front screen that sort of takes you past that front screen of Kabbage. But, this will really give you an idea of when you go past putting in your seller ID, what the process is, and sort of a behind-the-curtains view of what we're doing to determine, if we're going to put out capital to any given seller, and if so, how much. So I'll probably explain more about what's going on than you'll probably typically ever get on the website. But we'll start out simply with a couple of, for those that aren't familiar with Kabbage, just a couple of informational slides that we'll go through pretty quickly. So if you see Meet Bill up there, which I hope you do, that means that this thing's working. Bill is sort of our combination of all different sellers that we've met. We've got sort of a saying around here that says, "Save Bill," because nobody else is. The banks aren't looking out for him. Bill has been selling online for a good amount of time. He's got good volume. His customers really like him, as evidenced by a good seller rating. He's got a good credit score, not great, but the thing that's keeping Bill from growing his business is cash. Even if he has some cash, the cash to really use other people's cash, pay for that, and grow more than just organically. And the problem that Bill has is Rich. Rich is the typical banker type. Rich can't walk into a Rockstar store, walk on those hardwood floors, and look around at all the products that are on the shelves. Doesn't understand the traffic that's actually coming through and buying and how quickly they're buying it. Doesn't know what your customers are saying about you, and he only sees part of that picture, and he only sees that credit score, not that other data. And that's a problem. And it's not entirely Rich's fault. He just doesn't know where the data is, doesn't know how to analyze it, and it's very tough to economically underwrite smaller, lines of capital like the ones Kabbage puts out to small sellers. So that's what we do. What do you use it for? By and large, the vast majority of folks who come to Kabbage and get capital use it to buy more inventory and sell more. Talked to Charlene this morning, and that's something easy to do, is add inventory and make more of the same margins you're making. We've had one of the rock stars, Gary Turner, bought a new computer to be able to list things faster. He and I spoke last week, and that really has increased the volume of his business because he can get things listed faster. During seasonal times, adding staff, hiring employees, whether it's listing stuff or shipping things out. Figure out what you're not good. Don't do that, and get somebody else to help do it where you can focus on what you're good at. And we've had a few sellers come in and use it just to do more advertising because they know that'll grow more sales. Still there, everybody?
Everybody's still here. I think they're very enchanted with this concept, and they're trying to figure out on this slide, or the previous slide, what kind of things that they could have in their business. And you had mentioned like Gary and Trisha got a new computer, and sometimes honestly people don't realize how much just a new computer can really change your life. That speed, giving you an extra maybe 15 minutes every day, but add that up over an entire year, that's a lot of time saved by just one piece of new equipment.
Yeah, I mean, the stories we've heard, I almost could not make up of the things people have used it for. I'll give you two quick examples. One is just a better camera or a light box, a way to better showcase your products because they're going to sell if they look better than other similar products that are out there. We've had folks do that. The best story I've ever heard was, or not the best, it's just one I haven't, you wouldn't think of. There was a gentleman out in Las Vegas that had a garage full of collectible CDs and DVDs that had scratches and nicks on them. So they were not saleable, but with a new refinishing machine, they would be. The refinishing machine is probably $2,000. So you have all this sleeping inventory sitting in your garage that you could get out there, sell for 10, 20 bucks a CD or DVD because they're collectible, but you've got to get them in shape first, and that's a purchase you could make to make more money. So just a couple examples of what you could use it for.
I think that's awesome. Now, we did just get a question that came in from Debbie. She says, I'm wondering why people would choose Kabbage over a credit card.
Okay. That's a great question, and it's funny, Debbie, when we talk to customers, or actually when we were out on the road raising money for Kabbage, they're like, who are your competitors? There's not a lot of people out there, or we haven't found many that are doing just this. But personal credit cards, home equity lines, we know that those are the things. A loan from Aunt Janelle, perhaps.
Don't give me any ideas. What are you doing?
Those are the things that people use. But here's what we found. You're not going to pay a seasonal employee on a credit card. You're not going to, if you're going to a liquidation sale or a supplier that's selling you something for 7 or 10 cents on the dollar, typically they're not going to pay the points on a credit card. Surely you can go down to TJ Maxx and purchase, big lots and put some things on credit card. And the last thing is you're also using your credit card, go to Kroger and buy groceries. You're using it for your personal life. So, a credit card is certainly something that you can use, but if you're going to take your business to the next level, look at every business up and down the street in the town you live in, from the big ones to the small ones, and every one of them has some sort of strategy to utilize debt capital to grow their business. And, just because you're selling online and just because you're building your business doesn't mean that you shouldn't have that same option too.
Great point. That's what Debbie just said. Too funny. She said, great point.
I'm glad to hear. I can't see the comments, so I have to hear them through Janelle.
Yes, interpreter.
So, on to the next slide, and then we'll get to the process. So, what Kabbage does is we do provide working capital to online sellers. We've launched on eBay where we can, when I say we've launched, that means if you're an eBay seller, we can underwrite you. We can look at your volume. We can look at how you run your business. We can look at your credit score. And from the time you land on our site, if we approve you, you can have money in your account in 10 minutes or less. The fastest is about 4 minutes, and the average is about 8. Imagine going into a bank and trying to do that. I can't cash a check that quickly. You're dealing with a company that we understand online merchants, and you need that cash quickly. I've talked to people that there's a big opportunity on liquidation.com, or there's an estate sale that comes up the next day. You're not going to go to your bank and get a line of credit that quickly. And you want something that works with you. You can buy it, and depending on how you use your volume, these are 6-month advances. So if you turn your products quickly, you do it, sell it, pay it back within 30 days, and you're done. Or sometimes you need more utility out of the money, and you can keep it for the 6-month period. As I said, we use different seller information than anybody really uses, not just that one credit score to see where you are. And we really think we do provide a new way for online businesses to grow because we're looking at them through a different lens than anybody else really ever has. And we talked about this a little bit before, so I'm not going to go into it, but you can inventory employees, advertise, upgrade equipment, anything that you can think of. I talked to somebody the other day that was going to add a section onto their house where they could store inventory.
Well, that's good.
Other use that you could use it for. Prefer you not go to the Bahamas, but those are natural things that you could use the money for.
Well, it was interesting. We were talking the other day about this, and sometimes it's even as entrepreneurs, we usually run our business through our household, and sometimes just being in your household can be a little bit overwhelming, just with all the stuff that needs to get done, and sometimes paying some of the bills, so you're not worrying about them. Sometimes paying for somebody to come in and help with the household type of thing, so you're not worrying about them. Sometimes those things can really help change your outlook on your business as well.
Absolutely. All right, so Janelle, you ready to go behind the curtain?
Definitely.
All right, what you have in front of you is the front page to Kabbage.com. We've really tried to opt on and it's Kabbage with a K.com, so it is we think it's a very unique and misspelled vegetable that actually can help your business grow. All you need to do up front is enter your seller ID and hit Start Now. When you do that, you'll go to another screen that lets us know that you're not some robot in there trying to test it. And once you get past that, you're going to get one of two screens. One will be, your volume is not, sufficient right now. This isn't probably right for you. Check back with us. And while we don't disclose the exact amounts that we require in terms of volume and selling, the first screen typically looks at, have you been selling for a decent amount of time? Just like your bank would look at, the dry cleaner on the corner and say, have you been in the strip shopping center for long enough to have a track record that we should underwrite giving you, 10 grand to fix the roof or add a new machine? Really no different. It's just a sort of same proxy online. And we look at the volume you're doing. When we look at that volume, we give you an estimation of what you could qualify for. I mean, there's other sort of gates that you have to go through here within eBay, PayPal, and your own credit application. But this was feedback from users saying, it'd be great to know up front what we really could qualify for before we have to go through, the rest of the application, which granted is quick, but what could we get from it? And by the way, anybody who's watching this who has any suggestions, shoot them to Janelle, shoot them to me. The reason this thing is as clean as it is right now is because of user feedback. We've taken every bit we've gotten and it's been integrated in one way or another. So what you see on the screen, you qualify for up to $7,200. It's 3 pretty quick steps, and you can have funds in your PayPal account. Put in your email address here just in case you drop from the process. We can reach back out to you and continue. Then we take you to eBay, where you put in your user ID and password, similar that you would do for apps, Terapeak, Outright, those types of. And what we're doing is we're looking at the data of some of your transactions within eBay, and we're also authenticating that you are who you say you are. If you think about, it's hard to, you hear about identity fraud and all that. Kabbage is pretty unique because we're tying together your eBay, your PayPal, and your credit score all at once. And it's probably a lot harder to fake that than, just one of the three, if you will.
True.
So you put in your user ID, you agree to do that, and you've granted the access to Kabbage to verify who you say you are, authenticate you, and look at some of your data. We bring you back to Kabbage. You enter your PayPal email address. Same idea. You put in the address, and we take you to PayPal. This is PayPal screen. This is not on Kabbage. This is giving us the right to look into your PayPal account and see the volume that you've been doing, and also authenticate that you are the owner of that account at PayPal, and then tie that back also to your eBay account. We good so far?
Very good so far. We've got questions coming in, but I'm going to wait till you're through with this process to ask you.
Okay. If there's a natural spot on these parts, I'll stop after PayPal if you want to break in with some, and then I'll stop at the credit application and we can break in. So you put in your email and password here at PayPal, and once again, we go in, we authenticate you are who you say you are. We've got your and we've got the data that you see there. We're looking at your name, your email address. We're getting your PayPal balance. We can see transactions in your account history and verify all this both individually and against the other data that we are receiving. You agree to allow us to do that, and we go to the credit application. And I'm happy to stop here. If there's questions about where we just were, I can answer them now before we get too far ahead.
Actually, one of the questions has to do with this page. Do you guys pull a credit report off of this page, and does that affect their credit score?
Yes, we do pull a credit report. It's a minimal effect on your credit score, but it is an inquiry the first time that you go through the process, no different than if you got credit from your gas company to open up service there or someone else.
Okay.
That's good. Questions?
There are, but I'm going to wait till you're done with this part.
Okay. So here is the credit application, and we have really worked to make this as quick and easy as possible. If you think about those small business applications you might see in magazines that are a half page, we've really tried to take that and even make it shorter. So basic name, address, information, social, date of birth. Social is obviously used for the credit score we just talked about. Your business name, what type of structure you have, your federal tax ID number. An interesting point here is we weren't sure up front whether a lot of the sellers would have this type of information or not, but the vast majority of Kabbage customers do.
Yeah.
Business address if it's different, and I'm going to go to the next screen, which is actually further down from there. Backup payment information. So you're going to enter your your bank account, your business checking account, or your whatever checking account you use, transit routing number and your account number and your name. We'll verify your account at your bank, and this is a backup. We will push funds to the sellers via PayPal, and we will take them back via PayPal. But in case there's not money at PayPal, this is kind of our backup to go to if we don't get paid. And finally, at the bottom, you sign up for your Kabbage account. You create a user ID, password, security question, similar to probably any Hotmail or Gmail account you've ever set up, but pretty quick and simple. As you go down to the bottom, you can see the advance agreement. These are not loans. They're actually merchant cash advances, which is an industry, I mean, you actually see more in restaurants and dry cleaners, where we advance you money based on the future receivables we see you have. It seems like a loan, but it is not a loan product. You have to agree to the merchant agreement. You can download it there in a PDF to keep it. You enter your initials and hit submit. Once you hit submit on this page, really, it sometimes amazes me, but like in 2 seconds, you will have the amount that you qualify for now. Here's another behind the curtains thing just for the rock stars. So the way we put cash out is this. So Janelle comes to the site and she's approved for a $12,000 line.
Woohoo!
Day
We're all going to
one,
Hawaii.
we're going to give her. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I said, woohoo! We're all going to Hawaii.
Well, not immediately.
Okay. Shoot.
if we give you a $12,000 line, you'll be approved. You'll get access to $3,000 up front, and then over the course of the next 6 to 7 months, we will release access to more capital to you. You know, as you continue to grow your business, show good payment behavior. Ideally, you know, your volume's going to go up because you have more cash to grow, and then by the end of month 6 or 7, you'll have access to your full amounts. So if you look at this Get More Cash page, in this case, the amount of advance is $1,000, so you would have had a $4,000 line. We didn't have it, we had it, and now it's not here. There should be something on this screen, and there will be shortly, that shows what your total line amount is, and then just the amount of advance that you have access to right now.
That makes sense.
If you go down and you see the grid below, this is something we thought was very important for online sellers. APRs can get very confusing to people, and utilizing credit of any form in a business is fundamentally different than utilizing it for something personal. You buy a TV and you pay 9 or 10% for 3 years. You can pay a lot more than the $1,000 you paid for the TV to get that, but it's something personal. For your business, it's got to make sense in dollars and cents of what you're, how much money you're making on each product, and it works for some businesses and it doesn't for others. So what we've tried to do, as opposed to saying, okay, it's this, it's this rate or this that, we want to lay out exactly how much you will need to pay on any given month through the 6 months out there, and if you want to just pay it off in 1 month, what that will be. So the way the product structure works, as I said, is 6 months. So in months 1 or 2, you're going to pay on average 6% of the advanced amount. In month 2, you're going to pay on average 6% of the advanced amount. In months 3, 4, 5, and 6, you're going to pay 1% of the advanced amount. And you will repay it 1/6 of the advanced amount plus the fee for that month on each month leading up to month 6. So it's not a big balloon at the end of the time period. But if you've got a business, for example, and to put this in easy terms, if your fee range was around 6%, and you took $1,000 and you kept it for 30 days, your fee would be $60. If you kept it for 6 months, your fee would be $160. So I mean, we've talked to multiple sellers even today where, the sellers we have spoken with have margins anywhere from 20-30% all the way up to 300%. So if you can take $1,000 and make $2,000 out of it, or even make $1,500 out of it, and only have to pay $60 for that ability, you should do that. You should do that early and often because you can grow your business that way. If the fees don't make sense and you can't make money, obviously you shouldn't.
Great point.
You can agree right there to that you want that $1,000. We'd redirect you to PayPal now to set up automatic payments. You sign a billing agreement at PayPal that allows us to reach in on set dates into your account and pull what the fees are for that month. Note that we can, you can prepay any time and you won't pay fees for the rest of the months out there. So if you pay it off after 1 month, it's just that first month's fee. It's no other fees. and that's trying to acknowledge that all businesses are different. Their turns on products are different. Sometimes things you think are going to sell fast don't, so you need to have that ability to pivot and move and sometimes stretch it out a little longer. When you go to PayPal to sign up for the billing agreement, again, you enter your email address and password. You agree that you're going to allow Kabbage to to pull the funds specified out of your account over the next 6 months. You approve that, and you've signed up for pre-approved payments through PayPal's adaptive payments platform. And from the time you do that, it's literally like 5 seconds, and you have money in your. We say it's minutes, but it's sick how fast it is. You'll have money in your PayPal account. So, in the future, we want to have the ability on an app or on your mobile device where you can actually tap into Kabbage right there when you see an opportunity and pull down money the second you need it and get it that quickly. So we say congratulations here, and you have the money in your account. Now, what I was going to do is walk through some of the screens once you have an account. Do you want to run with any questions now, Janelle, or you want me to continue through the next 2 or 3 slides?
I would love to bug you with some questions if that's okay.
Sure, and then we'll just go back to these slides. Go ahead.
Awesome. So one of the Debbie's saying love, love, love it.
Well, Debbie, sign up.
Janet has a really great question, and Janet, just stop me if I'm interpreting this wrong. She says, do you only look at the eBay part of our business? A lot of these people have businesses on Etsy, have businesses on Amazon. Sometimes they have their own website. Do you take those other businesses in consideration as well, or other channels that they're using?
What's her name again, Jenny?
Janet.
Janet. Okay, Janet, that's such an awesome question. We know everybody, or most sellers that are doing this as a business are not just on one platform, and they're cross-platform sellers. And we're working 3 shifts here at Kabbage to try to get the data that we need to underwrite across multiple platforms. So you should see in the future us being able to do Amazon, Etsy, Caboodle, you name it. If it's a place where people are selling either on a marketplace or even your own individual website, you might use a tool like Channel Advisor or Vendio or, any of the shopping carts, Shopify, all those. If there's a way in which you're getting a store up, we just want to be able to get the data. If we can do that, then we want to be able to give you an appropriately sized line to grow your business. But much like your business, we had to start somewhere, and we picked eBay. But it is absolutely square focused in our plans to open up other marketplaces as quickly as we can do it properly.
Now, for Janet, since she also sells on eBay and Etsy, and her own website, on this particular case, all her money's run through PayPal. So wouldn't Etsy kind of sort of be part of it anyways?
Interesting. We are actually looking at being able to underwrite based, beyond just eBay on some of the PayPal data that we're seeing. That's, you're doing business on eBay and Etsy, so we can kind of tell how much transactions are we verifying through eBay, and what is the delta between that and what's going on PayPal, and use that to more right-size the lines to get there. And you might see us doing that, honestly, before we have a fully functional Etsy product, essentially underwriting more on just PayPal data. We're testing into that right now. We're looking at it because we think it's a faster way to help sellers that are multi-platform, that eBay's one of them, and we can use the PayPal data to look at it. So it's not there yet, but absolutely we're looking at a way to work with marketplaces that use PayPal to underwrite with that even before we get that the true raw marketplace data like we are from eBay right now.
Okay. Well, and Janet's just killing Etsy too. So if you need somebody to give you any input into Etsy, she would be your girl, without a doubt. She's doing awesome.
Janet, send me a note. We'll talk.
Maybe Janet needs a new artist studio someplace. She's an artist. She does beautiful work. So who knows? At the very least, more paintbrushes, right, Janet? We got another question in from Connie, and I actually got this question in a couple times. I'm just choosing Connie's question to read, asking about specifically having to do with interest rates and finance charges. And I know you get this question all the time. So can they find it? Is it different for different people? Where can they find the answer for that?
As you go through the process and you look in the, as we went through the Get More Cash page, it'll lay out. The screen has changed slightly from what I have here, but it'll lay out exactly what your fees are going to be. So I'll back up here. So if you see there, kind of you've got, if you take $1,000 and you pay it back, in 6 months, you're going to pay $1,160. But let me answer you more. I said a little of this earlier, but I'll repeat it and see if it makes more sense. So it's a 6-month advance that we give you, and you're going to pay us back 1/6 of the amount we give you each month. And the fees in each month are different. They're higher in month 1 and month 2, and then they drop in months 3 through 6. Different people are going to have different fees. No different than, different people have different mortgage rates. We do look at your, we're looking at all your store performance, and we're also looking at your credit score. Our model is not, completely baked enough to where we can go without reliance on a credit score. The dream for us is to be able to underwrite without using credit score. I mean, that's where we want to get to, but you've got to sort of wade into that pool slowly. So we do look at that. So your fees are going to vary depending on, your business, your volume, and your individual credit score. Did I answer all of her questions, or
yeah? Is there sometimes there's charges, like if you miss a date or don't pay or whatever it is, sometimes there's special charges for that. Is there a place on your site where she can see those charges?
It should be in the back where you see the terms.
Mm-hmm.
You see on that page that I have up now, Kabbage Advance Agreement for your records.
Yep.
You can click on that and print it out and keep it, and all of those charges should be in there. There's not, if you don't pay us, there are a couple of other charges that will be, for non-payment that could be in there. We really haven't been looking at them lately as we've been getting launched. But there's not a bunch of junk charges that you can typically see with application fees and all these other kind of fees. We're going to charge you a fee for the months in which you use money, and you pay us back, and those are the only charges you get. You pay us back early, and you don't pay fees for the months in which you don't use money.
Awesome. Now, I know that you kind of answered this before, but we're getting this question a couple times, so I just want to make sure that this is really clear to everybody. Can you pay off your amount early?
Absolutely. There is no prepayment penalty at all. As I said, for example, the fee for month 1 is 6%, month 2 is 6%, months 3, 4, 5, and 6 are 1% each of those months. You use the money for a month and pay off before the end of 30 days, you're going to pay 6% on the amount we advance to you, and you're going to pay none of those other fees. So if you're turning your products quickly, you're going to, you're only paying for the time in which you use the money.
Right. And we're getting another question in that you had gone over at the very beginning, talking about that this isn't a loan. We're getting a question, am I correct in interpreting this as not a loan, that's why the interest is called fees instead?
Effectively, yes. In the merchant cash advance world, you have fees. You don't have interest rates. If you go to a bank and you have loans, and you do have interest rates, and there's legal and regulatory reasons that we chose one over the other. Who knows? In 2 or 3 years, we might wind up being a product that functions more like a bank that is a loan. It certainly would be easier to explain for people. We didn't do it for ease of use in the vernacular, I can assure you of that. But the product is a merchant cash advance, and we're essentially advancing you funds, and what you're paying us as a discount rate. So if we give you $1,000, then we're taking rights to $1,160 worth of receivables in 6 months. That's how it functionally works. But one of the things I really like about the structure is we just tell you how many dollars you're going to have to pay on any given month when you want to pay off, and a lot of people seem to like that. They don't care so much what the rate is per se, but they just want to know, what, I'm going to pay $60 if I keep it for 30 days, and I know what my margins are, and I know that I can make a lot more money doing that.
Yeah. Now we got one more technical question in. If they're asking technical questions, it's great. I'm glad that you guys are sending these in because you're trying to figure out what this looks like in your business. I think that's awesome. We got a question about, do you have a FICO score or proprietary guide?
Well, FICO is the sort of the standard from Fair Isaac that you hear of within credit scores. There's three main credit bureaus. There's Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, and we pull from those as part of our underwriting, as well as looking at the eBay and PayPal data at this time. Eventually, I don't know if this answers your question, we are trying to create a Kabbage score, if you will. I don't know that it looks like a number per se, because there's all this other data that's involved into it, and we need to see what's important and what's not. It might be really important that you've been selling for 16 months versus 15, and that makes you a better credit risk. It might be really important that you sell baby clothes over aftermarket car parts. I don't know, and we don't know entirely what the data is going to show until you get enough customers to see what is indicative. But the answer is yes. We are going to be creating our own proprietary Kabbage score, and bringing all this data into it. And whether it's levels or maybe a number, we'll see what form it takes. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. This process that you guys have created has got to make us as eBay sellers feel special. For such a long time, people are like, oh, you sell on eBay, you sell Beanie Babies and you sell at your garage and stuff, and it's never been legitimized as a real business. And so I definitely get that feeling from Kabbage that you guys very much understand that these are real businesses. We just don't fit some of those traditional type of loan and financial spots that people want us to fit into. And so I really appreciate all of this non-technical stuff that you guys are looking at to figure this out.
No, I mean, I'd be curious what, and they can answer. I'll throw out a question to everybody else since I'm getting kind of ganged up on. We've looked at the idea of issuing, Kabbage badges per se, similar to the VeriSign badges of different levels and stuff. Are you Kabbage certified? Do you have a Kabbage, I know everybody loves their ribbons at all the old eBay Lives and at the on locations. I mean, some sort of marking that you could put on your site that says you're a Kabbage customer and you're certified. Is that something that would be interesting to everybody listening? I'd love to hear the responses. Don't make me feel good. Tell me the truth.
I definitely would tell you the truth because it doesn't help you to create something if nobody likes it. That's a great idea. I would definitely. Charlene actually says that she doesn't want her customers to know where her financing comes from. She definitely holds a lot of her business very close to her, type of thing. So
a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
I mean that's fair. Some people want to tout something like this, and some people don't. That's why we're trying to. Got a good form to ask, and we got plenty of time, so I figured I would ask.
You know what you should have? I just thought of this. For the people who do want to go, woohoo! I'm thinking of Melinda. Woohoo! She's my woohoo girl.
You have to do that with a little bit better Texas twang.
I'll let Melinda just own that title. Is once you get your funding, once you get to the congratulations page, there should be a button that you can click that you get to put that up on Facebook.
Ah.
I know. How come you guys don't have that? What are you doing?
It is being written down as we speak. I'm sure all of our technical folks would love to hear of yet something else that we need to do.
And then just get Melinda's permission to use the woohoo, and you're good to go. Woo! I just got a loan from Kabbage. I think that would be great. Because there are people out there that would want to go to do the woohoo. Just like when I buy a really cool Groupon, I hit that same button and tell people this is what I just got. That's pretty awesome. So yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, I'm legitimized as a business and I'm growing it, and we think that would be. Some people would be very interested. Some people wouldn't.
Yeah.
And if it floats your boat, great. If not, you don't have to do it.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, on to the next screen. Oh, you know what? We're at the 37-minute mark, and you promised me a joke.
Oh gosh, let's keep going. I'm gonna have to. I'll have to come up with one. I was somewhat joking, but I'll see what I can do. Unfortunately, I've got a 3 and a 6-year-old, so most of my jokes involve knock-knock jokes that make no sense at all.
Well, those are the best.
So where are we? Okay. Do you want me to go back to the slide deck? There's only 2 or 3 more.
Yeah, that would be great.
I wanted folks to be able to see what's going on, once you get an account. So you have an account here. You see what your balance is. So that example, you took $1,000. Now you owe us $1,060. Nothing's past due, and you can see down there at the bottom, the advance fee is the $60. and the 1,000 has been sent to your PayPal account. And this is sort of the overview of your account. Once you're an account holder and you go to the Kabbage site, you can look at this and sort of see where you stand, because you might take 1,000 now, and then you might take another 1,000 2 weeks from now when another opportunity, if another opportunity comes in. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. Next screen is get more cash, and here's what I'm talking about. You've already taken 1,000, and you want. I mean, this looks very similar to the other screen because it basically is. But if you want to get more cash, you can go to this screen and see what your available limits are now, and take them immediately. You can also go and make a payment. You can pay out the entire balance, another amount, and that back to the question that was asked earlier. Can you prepay it? Yes, and right here is where you do it. And you can do it via PayPal and take care of it. And that's it for the sort of the backstage tour of Kabbage and what the process is like. It's there's more going back and forth between eBay and PayPal and than we probably would like, and we are constantly looking at ways to shorten that process. But it's important for the security of everybody's data that we make sure that people are who they say they are, that all these accounts are tied together, and it's just as safe and secure as possible. And right now, that's the best way to get good data, to know that you are who you say you are and that your business is doing what it is, so we can put money out smartly.
That's a great idea. I just keep thinking, going back to what people would use this money for, and just in working with entrepreneurs for the past decade or so, there's this mentality that happens with most entrepreneurs. This I either need it for free or I need it for as cheap as possible. Services in their business, whether it is a new logo design or a website or anything like that. And unfortunately, like we were talking about before, you kind of get what you pay for type of thing with that. And you keep hindering your business. It's almost like you're kind of on crutches, hobbling along with your business. And I think this really provides an entrepreneur the freedom to grow their dreams a little bit more. With this advance, I could hire the better designer I wanted to go with, and I don't have to hobble along on a bad website for the next year and a half type of thing until I can afford the better website. And that would mean more customers and return on investment type of situation. So you guys are really helping make some of those bigger dreams happen sooner for these entrepreneurs.
I like your point about, they want it as cheap as they can or free. And it reminds me of a saying that my dad always said, which is the most expensive thing is a cheap lawyer.
I think that's good.
And it's true.
It's your next tagline.
You need good quality in terms of what you're doing. You need good quality in terms of the pictures you put on your site, in terms of the marketing you do, in terms of your customer service, and all those things. And don't let you can't let other people or other things. Oh, you can't go into that market or that. Yes, you can. We've had you guys probably know, and I'll tell the story simply because she's talked about it in the press for us. But good old Cindy Shebley. But she tried out a new market using a Kabbage Advance. She's typically doing more of the photography equipment and lighting equipment, and went into backpacks during the before school specials. Utilizing this, so you can use it to try out new things as well. I mean, don't take crazy risks, but I mean, you can. There's all kinds of things you can do, and I guess Janelle, you always talk to folks about, sort of not take no for an answer, and you got to get out there and just sort of do it, and plow through the walls.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm looking at some of the people on the call and what they could be doing with the money, and I'm thinking, not to point anybody out, but like Kat is going through an amazing transition right now with Kat's Closet and Kat's Boutique, and a big PR campaign for new branding for her would be phenomenal. And this type of situation could afford her to hire, the right PR person, do the right SEO, PR press releases through the right channels, and not to put words in your mouth, Kat. Yeah, and I'm thinking about some of these other people are looking for opportunities to expand right there on their property. Exactly what you said, like inventory storage type of situation, and I could see that. Some of them are actually leaving real-world jobs and heading into this exciting entrepreneur world on their own, and maybe some of them just need that transition loan that loan of faith of jumping ship from the real world into being an entrepreneur as well. So yeah, I'm just looking at the people on this call, and there's some really great opportunities here. Very cool. I'm getting big smiley faces from cats, so I'll take that as a good thing. Awesome. Do you have anything else you want to share with everybody?
Well, I think the main points are this, and one of them I actually did not touch on the other day, so I'm glad you asked. One, it's very quick and painless. You can go through the process in literally less than 10 minutes. If you type fast, anybody gets under 4 minutes, shoot me an email because you will hold a new record. But financial institutions just don't operate that fast, and you can go from application to money in your account in 10 minutes. The other thing is you can apply right now for Kabbage, get an account, and not take any money. So have it ready. It's almost like you could use it like a home equity line for your business,
That's
where
a great
it's
point.
there and available when you need it, but you don't actually have to take the money right now. And I don't know that we've talked a whole lot about that, Janelle, but this was actually an idea that Griff gave us. He's like, well, can you just set up an account and sort of have it at the ready? And we're like, man, I wish we'd have thought of that. And then we went back and put it to use, because you know what, you might not have that need today, but there's no reason you can't go onto the site and sign up for an account and have it ready when that next great deal comes down or the estate auction comes up and you really could buy a huge lot of product to grow your business. And you got different tools in your bag. You've got advertising tools, you've got employees, you've got sort of your special suppliers where you can get things you want. Capital's no different. It should be one of the first tools in any business's bag, and online sellers, don't need to take a second seat to other businesses anymore. They can have it in their bag too.
That's a great point. Now, they don't pay, because we're getting a question about it, they don't pay any fees while that opportunity just sits there in their Kabbage account?
No, they do not.
That is great. So they can be prepared for anything.
You're setting up an account, and it is there and at the ready when you need it.
That is awesome. Very exciting. Well, I know that you have a lot of people on this call really thinking. I'm definitely getting those posts about gears turning for their business and those opportunities. And if you guys would like to learn more, obviously head over to Kabbage with a K, .com and check out the process. If you have any questions, definitely email me and I'll forward them to Mark, or you can email Mark directly on the site. I'm assuming it's the easiest way to contact you.
Yeah, I'll give you my email address. It's mgorlin, MGORLIN, @cabbageWithAK.com.
He says that now, but once they're big like eBay, like he's going to hate giving that email address out. I remember when we still had access to Meg at one point. Yeah, that didn't work out so well for her. That's what Charlene just said. Oh, we have it now. So, well, you guys are very special at Mark's email address. There you go. All right.
Yeah,
so
if you, I encourage you, go sign up for an account, and there's no cost to you to sign up, and tell us what you think, and tell us what you're thinking about doing with that money, and tell us if there's other things that you would do with it that we're not thinking of, because we can use that to reach out to folks just like you.
And I know Kabbage, their main goal obviously is to help you guys grow your business. So if you see a different opportunity within Kabbage that isn't there for your business, of how you need it to grow, let them know as well, and they'll take that under consideration. They are one of the few businesses out there that I'm aware of that really truly listens to who their customers are and what they need for their business, which is awesome. I knew this question would come in. The Rockstars are wanting to know if they get any special benefits.
No, what would they like?
Exactly. I'm sure that Mark, besides giving you guys his special email address, would come up with something fabulous for the Rockstars.
I'll tell you what. Everybody who signs up for Kabbage, let's say between now and you got to. Well, you're sending out emails, and so anybody that Anybody that hears this before the end of, let's say, March and signs up for a Kabbage account, we will send you a Starbucks gift card for $20.
Holy cow. There you go. Cat just asked for Starbucks, and look he just gives it to you, Cat. Awesome. Well, that's a great gift. And signing up for an account, seeing what kind of money and potential you have, I think is just a great opportunity to allow your dreams to grow a little bit bigger in your life. And we definitely all need that type of situation.
And caffeine.
What? And caffeine.
And caffeine.
Caffeine always helps entrepreneurs. We have.
I did wind up remembering an old. I guess in the times that we were raising money, the whole bank joke about when the economy's so bad and the bank returns your check marked insufficient funds, you all of us had to call them and ask if they meant them or you.
Bad joke.
I know. It's
we should stuck with the knock-knock jokes.
I know. My daughter tells them, but then they make absolutely no sense. And it just keeps on going.
Well, Marc has one more special gift for you guys on this call. Very, very generous. And Charlene, you can't apply for part two of it. Has to be somebody new.
We had a great time with Charlene this morning. It was a fun call.
That's awesome. Charlene's just a great entrepreneur. But for the rest of you on this call, the first person who can actually post a good joke go to Webinar Toolbar. Marc is giving away a free 15-minute consulting with him on what it looks like to grow your business, and not just with Kabbage, because I'm sure that that's not all you and Charlene talked about, but just everything in general. Marc has such a great outlook and a great history of what it's like to be an entrepreneur. He can help you with inventory and growing your business and marketing and just all sorts of amazing things having to do with that. So we'll see if we get a good joke coming in. We're still getting groans from your other joke. Sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I should have just stopped.
I'm
kind of on here, so I can't even. Everybody's looking at my screen, so I can't even cheat and go look one up.
No. Oh, Kat liked your bank joke. She says. You can still have the Starbucks card, Kat. You don't even have to be nice or anything. All right. Everybody's like looking up jokes. They have to be clean jokes too. You know, Marc's got kids.
Well, I know they had to be clean. That's why I can't come up with one. I tell you, I'm trying to file through the ones in the.
Well, while we're waiting for them to type up their best joke, first joke in.
Or to Google, see who Googles
everybody's
the
Googling them.
Site first.
The first person to send in a joke will get a chance to talk to Marc off camera, type of thing. Marc, where are you guys going? Where's Kabbage going to be this year?
Oh goodness, we are all over the place. We are going to be out at Miss Lynn Drawley's Lynn on location in Vegas in a couple of weeks.
Fun.
We are actually not, and you can get the word out, we're actually nominated for one of the Innovators Awards at South by Southwest, normally known as the Music and Film Conference down in Austin, so we'll also be down there presenting as part of Microsoft's BizSpark program for innovative web technologies. We will be at the eBay on location events. I know the first one was announced once again in Vegas. I can tell you that I'm don't know that I care to go to Vegas quite this many times, but it looks like I'm going to be there a lot this year. Also the eBay radio party, Lee and Griff and the gang, which likely will also be in Vegas. We'll be out there for that. And as other events come up that make sense, and as we get into other marketplaces, you know, depending on what sort of events they have for their sellers, we will be there. But we're always available online at Kabbage.com, so if you have questions or so forth, all you got to do is info@Kabbage.com goes to anybody that you would want to talk to, and your question will get answered.
Awesome. And while you're in those particular locations, can anybody come and talk to you about what Kabbage looks like in their business?
Absolutely. We're a captive audience. You can talk to us about all that. And actually, at some of the events, I might bring the Starbucks gift cards with me. So there's no mailing it. I'm going to I'm going to get mobbed by a band of caffeine-starved eBay sellers.
Well, Charlene's the one who's sending in all the great jokes. Charlene, did you want to talk to Marc some more, or did you want to pick somebody else to get a chance to talk to Marc? Everybody's saying that they have jokes, but they can't remember them.
Okay. Don't say the first one that comes to your mind. It sort of bit me, everybody.
We'll find out if Charlene would like more time with you, or if she's going to allow somebody else. It looks like she's given it to Janet for a chance to talk to you, and I think that will be good because a lot of entrepreneurs sell products and type of things, and Janet's one of those wonderful, successful people online who does artwork and does it beautifully. And those tend to be harder lives as entrepreneurs. It's a little bit harder for them to establish themselves, and she's done a great job. So,
is she on Etsy, I assume?
And she's on eBay and Etsy. So, yeah, that will be good.
Yeah, it's an interesting business when you get into the handmade goods or the art products, because if you're buying product and shipping it out, your margins are definitely different than if you have a sort of an individual thing, just individual type of product that your margins could be higher, but it depends how much time you're actually taking. So really looking at what your costs are in that business, and if you need to be doing all of it, or you can supplement some, those are interesting discussions to have with people in those types of cool businesses.
Definitely. Well, Michelle is saying it's just good to know that there's financing options out there, and Michelle is a person who has just an amazing business and is growing it incredibly rapidly, and I would see definitely some sourcing opportunities coming her way, that this might be a really good time for her as well as some other businesses she wants to start. So we'll see what that looks like for her. Definitely.
Well, the way you guys keep us around and helping sellers is signing up for accounts and using us, and then as we grow, you ask where we're going in the future, and it's not just these smaller lines. We want to get where we're doing $25,000, $50,000 lines. We want to get where we're on your phone, and the way we get there is by people trying it out, using it, and helping growing their business.
Definitely.
So if you want to see all those things and higher size lines, then come try us out and grow with us.
Awesome. So you guys head over to Kabbage with a K, Kabbage .com. Go ahead and apply for an account. Marc has promised you guys Starbucks cards, which is awesome. And see what kind of opportunities you have. I know both Marc and I would be really excited to hear the different ways that you're using these different lines of credit in your business, and how they're helping you grow faster and bigger. Pretty exciting. Marc, thank you so much for coming on today.
You're welcome. And by the way, I know Janelle is going to put up a link. If you use that link, that would be helpful as far as getting your Starbucks card. If you just go to Kabbage.com, you will need to send us an email to info@Kabbage after you've set up your account, so we'll know where you came from, and we can get the card out there to you. So I want to make sure nobody misses out on their morning latte for not going through the right channel to get there.
Of course, and I will definitely put that URL up in the Rockstar discussion forums. I will also include it in the replay of this class as well. So if you're watching the replay, check out the links next to the replay, and you've got it going on. Awesome. We're getting all these thank yous coming in from you. The Rockstars definitely appreciated your time and patience walking us through this process. It's always nice to see behind the scenes before you actually have to go behind the scenes and fumble around with things.
Well, no, I'm glad you gave us the opportunity. Coming soon, you'll be able to perhaps see a video or what you just saw from me on the front page of the site. But as I said, we're working as quickly as we can to get it out there. But the Rockstars were good to us, and we're some of our first beta customers. So now you can see what it looks like behind. It's only going to get cleaner and better. So
that is awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you so much, Marc, for sharing all that with us. For everybody on this call, thank you for choosing success. And it sounds like quite a few of these guys are going to see you in Vegas one of those times. So there you go, Marc.
Say hello.
You'll be attacked by rock stars. Awesome. Thank you, Marc. We look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right. Thank you, Janelle. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.